The MG Trophy Championship is sponsored by Knight Industries. Hello and a very warm welcome along to round 9 of the 2018 MG Trophy Championship here at Oulton Park. Remember, 3 races for the price of 1, the 190 brake horsepower cars, the 170s and the standard class 160s. Joining us down in pit lane is Barry, catching up with one of our newcomers, Josh Bacon.
Always great to see new drivers on the grid. Josh, welcome to the MG Trophy Championship. Now, what encouraged you to get involved?
So I went along to the Auto Sports Show and I met up with an old rival from karting, Andy Spencer, and then he introduced me to Pete, and then they were like, come along to a couple of events around the season. So I went along to Silverstone for the first one last year, and then they were like, you should get involved.
Now, like many of our drivers, you've got a bit of a history of karting, so obviously you got used to the sort of racing instinct there, but MG Trophy, a little bit different, probably slightly more refined, but certainly as competitive.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen there's a massive grid compared to a karting grid. Also, front wheel drive's a bit different from the karting, so you get a lot of power to the rear, so you're sliding a lot more. This is just a bit more front wheel drive, so you don't have to worry about losing the rear end.
So you joined us in the penultimate round of this season. Is it a bit of a sort of shakedown, test the water and get ready for the 2019 campaign?
Yeah, so we're doing the last 2 of this one, so here in Snetterton. This one we're here is just a guest, just to check how everything's happening. And then for Snetterton we'll be obviously in the points, but it won't make much of a difference being the last round of the season.
Now, qualifying done. Now, I must mention that we've got a slight redesign on the bonnet there. Just tell me the story behind that.
So yesterday during testing, I was just going down the hill through Cascade, coming onto the straight, and then the bonnet flew open, smashed the windscreen.
Wow.
So we had to get that a new windscreen in from Manchester and fitted it overnight, and then it's just dried for today.
Gianni, great to see you back out again. We haven't seen you all season here. You seem to come out for some key rounds. Are you enjoying your season so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, I haven't done all the rounds, but so not on the championship hunt or anything like that, just having a bit of fun.
Now, when we see you out on track though, when you're actually at these events, you do seem to progress pretty well.
Yeah, not very good at qualifying, so always start a bit further back than we hope. But yeah, as long as I have a good race, I'm trying to overtake some few people, and yeah, let's just have a bit of fun really.
Now, just to touch on one point, obviously 12 months ago-ish, we were here, we had the big smash, which thankfully you were okay with, and the team behind you sort of put the car back together. Big learning curve straight away there, but at least you got that early on in your career, and now we seem to be progressing well, and the vehicle looks spectacular. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, obviously it's not the same car, but yeah, we're just trying to not think about that too much, just enjoy the weekend. We're a lot quicker than we was then, today. But everyone else is a lot quicker, so yeah, it's going good. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we don't crash this year.
Hopefully no crashes for anybody. Gianni 9th in Class B, outright pole with Graham Ross, the championship leader. Jason Burgess 2nd from Doug Cole and Mike Harris on row 2. Class A completed by Gary Wetton. Class B headed by Sam Kirkpatrick from Matthew Turnbull, Ryan Firth and Paul Luty. Class C headed by John Booth from Tyler Ballard, Joseph Dalgano and Phil Tomlinson. Huge field, 28 cars qualifying here at Oulton Park. It's going to be very, very crowded. Paul Luty's got his on board and Bobby Monk over the back of the seat as ever. 5 seconds to go. Ross and Burgess about to assume battle. Away we go. It's a good start. It's a really good, consistent start by everybody. Quick there from Tom Butler, who made up a place, but when this many cars have an equal start, it could cause problems as they go into turn 1 at Old Hall. There in 33 is Patrick Booth on the inside line. Only one car going off over the rumble strips there. That's surprising. This is a great start by everybody. Really good driving standards. Paul Luty, I think, problems for John Gill, the Wolverhampton racer. John third in the 160 class championship at the moment. The race leaders along Lakeside for the first time. And Paul Luthi heading the pole position man, Sam Kirkpatrick, at the moment. So Luthi leading class. Meanwhile, the race, there, Doug Cole's off! Doug Cole, from third on the grid, spins it around. Hopefully will keep it out of the barriers. Yes, he does. He gets the car stopped as Jason Burgess chases Graham Ross, championship leader, being chased by the man second in the championship. Ross, though, setting the benchmark in qualifying, a 157.5 opposed to a 157.9. So Graham Ross setting out his stall early. James Cole passed by Jack Roberts there. Cole Jr. looking to close down on the points that his dad has on him, albeit in the separate class. Here's the view as they come down from Hilltop into Hislops. The 88 car a standout there. There is James Cole. Gianni Piccioni, who Barry spoke to immediately behind him. Then the 64 car of Matthew Turnbull. Matt, third in the 170 class championship. Outright the championship led by Graham Ross from Paul Luthi, Jason Burgess, Ryan Firth and Matt Turnbull. Remember the 160s, the white Sunstrips, standard class, not part of the main championship. It's now being seen as a class to nurture new drivers who want to come in to the championship, and it is obviously a slightly more cost-effective option as Doug Cole starts to close in. There's Josh Bacon immediately ahead of him. Josh in his first car race. What a milestone that is. We welcome him warmly to the championship. He's got a real quality driver in Doug Cole trying to make up ground. Behind him, Joe Delgano's off. So we've lost John Gill and Joe Delgano from Class C in the early stages of this race. Paul Luthi is there still leading class. It's very physical behind him. And Graham Ross is on the race leader, the championship leader, Graham Ross. That is a sad sight to see. What happened? Burgess looks up the inside line, a little tap on the rear end, and around goes Graham Ross. Burgess has gone off as well, but recovers, and Ross is in the barrier. I hate seeing damage like that. So too will Graham Ross. He's out of the car, which is the best news we could hope for, but that car looking very sad as Mike Harris wants to get past Paul Luthi. Mike, with the orange sunstrip, tells us, of course, that that is a 190 brake horsepower car. So Paul Luthi's got a 190 car between himself and the chaser, Sam Kirkpatrick. That's a little bit of breathing space for Luthi. Hard earned, of course, but Mike Harris will want to get past and open up the class. And look at the swarms of Class B cars, the 170s, the yellow sunstrips. There are loads of them. That's why Paul Luthi made the move from the 190s to the 170s. If ever you speak to him, that's what he'll tell you. That's why he's in that class. It's the biggest subscribed. He wanted more racing, and he, of course, mixes it with the Class A cars many, many times. And he's holding on in front of Mike Harris, the West Midlander at the moment. Sam Kirkpatrick busy coming under pressure from Ryan Firth, the Derbyshire driver, second in the championship to Paul Luthi. But it's Paul Luthi, what a start he must have had to get through there. Then we've got 55, Tom Butler, another Derbyshire-based driver, and Tom fourth in the standings. Ollyhood fifth in 170, and sixth position is a tie between Patrick Booth and Richard Marsh in the 19 car as they cross the line. On board once again with James Cole, trying to get back on terms with Jack Roberts, all of them up towards the sharp end of the grid. The race now starting to settle down a little bit. We shouldn't probably speak too soon. There's a 63 car of Ollyhood. I mentioned fifth in the 170 class standings. Involved in that's a sad sight to see Graham Ross's car parked up there. I doubt if that will take part in the second race here at Oulton, which is round 10 of this year's championship. Only two more races to go after this weekend at Snetterton, 29th of September. I do hope you'll be able to join us for that. This is the view along Lakeside, going through Island Bend up into Shell Oils, the banked corner. And there's Phil Tomlinson, the man from Eccleshall in Staffordshire, describes his racing as a midlife crisis. I'm sure many drivers will do that. And he's racing there with James Blake in the green car. James trying to close him down. I should think there's quite a few midlife crises out on the track, but very much enjoying it. Started off as an engine builder, did Phil in the 17 car, and having a decent race of it at the moment, albeit as being chased. This is the battle for the lead, though. We mentioned that Jason Burgess, the man from Stamford, went off on the grass after that contact, and he lost the lead. So the race leader is Gary Wetton, the 46-year-old, who's under big pressure at the moment from Jason Burgess on the qualifying lap times and championship form. You'd probably expect Burgess to go through and take the lead. He's certainly harrying the 22 car at the moment. These two well clear. Burgess goes to the outside line, high and wide, down into Old Hall corner. Is he going to go for the cutback and maybe look for the inside line down Denton's towards Cascades once again? He's all over the back of that white car. Here, though, is Phil Tomlinson, again, coming under pressure from James Blake. Blake a couple of lengths down at the minute, so maybe just weighing up his options and trying to work out where, if any, there are any weak spots in the driving of the 17 car as they cross the line once again. You can see the white sun strips in front of them. Here comes Blake down the inside, plenty of room to go down the inside. Nice clean overtake there. That's the kind of thing you want to see, not the cars in the barrier, which is very unfortunate indeed for Graham Ross, but back with the overall lead. Battle with Gary Wetton out front. Paul Luty now. It looks like Mike Harris has cleared these because Sam Kirkpatrick is right with him. The Cumbrian having a look. Then we've got Ryan Firth. No, in fact, the two other, the second and third place cars in the yellow Sunstrip 170s have passed the 190 car, and that gives them a clear run here at Paul Luty. But don't discount Mike Harris. He'll want to get in on the mix now. So too does Jason Burgess, who looks round the outside line here. Burgess is being made to work hard, and rather than maybe tap his way through on the inside line, he's working the outside hard. Side by side across the line they go here at Oulton Park, and can he get his nose in front? He has got it in front, but Gary Wetton's got the inside line. Now bang as they go into Old Hall. They both managed to keep their wheels on track and survive that, but it's physical racing here in the MG Trophy Championship. Mike Harris is getting back in the mix. Harris down the inside line here of Sam Kirkpatrick. He wants to have another nibble at Paul Luty. Luty would love to see him in his mirrors because that means a little bit of a go. James Cole into the back end of Jack Roberts, I think, and he's following his dad onto the grass. Both of them have had excursions onto the grass here at Oulton Park. Welcome back to Oulton Park, and we're watching the battle for the lead. Gary Wetton still there at the moment, but harried consistently here by Jason Burgess, who started P2. Remember, we lost Graham Ross on lap 1, or just after lap 1, Joseph Delgado and John Gill on lap number 1 as well. And this the battle for Class B, the 170 brake horsepower class, and it's Paul Luty out front at the moment. Sam Kirkpatrick, winner at Donington Park, picked up his first class win there. 7th position overall. This is the view back from Paul Luty, and Luty coming under big pressure, can't leave an inch open for his chaser to come through. You've got to say Kirkpatrick not under immediate pressure at the moment from Ryan Firth, who is third in class. They're the white fronted car with the blue back end. Here come the leaders across the line again. Gary Wetton still there. Burgess gets a run, looks to the outside line again. He might be mindful of the contact they had on the previous lap, and they seem to be giving each other room. No, they don't. They do get squeezed again, and Burgess on the outside line, but has got the momentum, survives it and goes through into the lead. Gary Wetton down into second position. Jason Burgess, the race leader, through as they went to Cascades. Meanwhile, going through in Class B, Sam Kirkpatrick. Oh, and was there contact with Paul Luty? There must have been. Luty's on the grass, he comes back on. Ryan Firth's got the lead. Ryan Firth through into the class lead. My goodness me, Sam Kirkpatrick's down to third in class. He held the lead momentarily after that little bit of rubbing there with Paul Luty. Meanwhile, Josh Bacon busy chasing David Heisman. So David Heisman, one of the Class C runners, and Josh Bacon here about to put a pass on him in his first motor race. Looks down the inside line, passes the Warwickshire-based driver. Josh Bacon himself comes from Warnham in West Sussex. Drivers from all over the country competing in this championship. So Ryan Firth now, second in the championship standings for the class, leads the class from Paul Luty, with the man who set above whole position time. Sam Kirkpatrick, the Cumbrian, having a look down the inside line of Luty, switches to the outside line now as they go onto another lap, down into Old Hall again. Superb camera work from Luty's car. It's invaluable to our coverage. Paul Luty in the 69 machine has had 2 retirements so far this year. It doesn't look healthy for Doug Cole, who pulls into pit lane after the first Cole family excursion onto the grass. And diving down the inside line, Lucy was looking for the inside line, and was he pushed there? That was very close racing, and Paul Luty winds up in the gravel. That is a third retirement of the year for Paul Luty. Meanwhile, look at this superb battling going on in the 160s. Josh Bacon and David Heisman. Heisman wants the position back. He's got the track position at the moment. And as they cross the line, David Heisman gets it back. That's for fourth position in class. No, third position in class, isn't it? Thinking about it. So Josh Bacon is fighting for a podium first time out in the 160s. Meanwhile, it's Ryan Firth now from Sam Kirkpatrick, then Mike Harris. Mike running in third place in Class A, remember, as they go across the line and trying to clear those cars and make progress as we ride on board with Patrick Booth. Patrick coming under pressure from Andy Firth. And Andy Firth in 7th position in class. Patrick Booth is in 6th, and you can see in the rear-facing camera how close things get. It's not close enough maybe to have a move at the moment. Meanwhile, we see John Booth in the 50 car running well, and John in 2nd position in Class A, dicing with James Blake. James now ahead of Phil Tomlinson, who is actually behind these two. And again, here's the battle for third position, having lost a couple of the Class C cars, Joseph Delgado and John Gill. Josh Bacon fighting for a podium with David Heisman, and really learning his racecraft here, which is good, and he's going to try and get third position back. He's teed this one up very well indeed, and David Heisman's giving him room. A lot of respect between each other here, which is what we love to see. Plenty of space, clean racing, fair racing between the pair of them. Well done to Josh Bacon making the position. David Heisman's going to try and fight back, obviously, too. Back with the race leader, Jason Burgess still out front. Gary Wetton in 2nd, significantly hasn't been lost, and he's setting very good lap times here, Gary Wetton. He's not losing touch with the leader, but equally not quite close enough to have a nibble for the lead as they go across the line onto the last lap. 2.7 miles, just a shade under that in actual fact, to go around Oulton Park in super conditions here this weekend. But it's been a race of attrition. We've lost John Gill, Joseph Delgado, Graham Ross, Doug Cole and Paul Luty. This is the battle for the 170s. Sam Kirkpatrick chasing hard. Out front is Ryan Firth, who is in the mix as well. Here they come across the lane, picking up the last lap board now, so it's Ryan Firth who's on his way to the win. Now we're getting told that there's a penalty on Sam Kirkpatrick for track limits as he challenges for the lead. He'll want to get the checker anyway and grab that, but he can't quite do it at the moment. It's Ryan Firth still in front. Of course, the race fans here will remember who crossed the line first. They won't remember the time penalty as the battling cars in the 160 class go across the line once again as well. Ollie Hood in the mix here with Christopher Bolton, 8th and 9th respectively in Class B. Hood goes a little bit wide, maintains position. Bolton's going to have a look to try and go through. The outright lead though, as we would expect with the 190 class, with Jason Burgess still there. Gary Wetton is still in P2, but Gary Wetton's lighting up the timing screen. He's setting purple sectors, chasing hard. He could get a fastest lap of the race here. They go up Clay Hill. I don't think he's going to get close enough to challenge for the lead. It looks like Jason Burgess has done all the work that he needs to do. Heading up out of Druids for the last time. Meanwhile, here are the battlers, the front two cars battling in Class B, and it's still Ryan Firth there from Sam Kirkpatrick. On the timing screen, we're seeing that it's Tom Butler running 2nd position in that class as Jason Burgess takes the checkered flag from Gary Wetton. The gap just half a second between the pair. Who is going to take the honours for 3rd place overall? It looks like Ryan Firth is going to be there, then Mike Harris, followed by Sam Kirkpatrick, who I think is going to wind up 7th overall on the timing, but he's going to try and nip through on the inside line, but it looks like Ryan Firth is going to have done enough to take the win here, and it will be, I think, a 3rd class win of the year for Ryan Firth, who does it here. There's the checkered flag. Firth takes it. 2nd across the line in class was Sam Kirkpatrick, with Mike Harris in the mix as well. We have to wait for our battlers of course, in Class C, which are headed by Tyler Ballard. Before that, though, Ollie Hood and Christopher Bolton. Chris round the outside line. The purple bricks car of Ollie Hood is going to sneak back because there was a wee wide moment there for Christopher Bolton. And he takes it. Meanwhile, here's the man I was telling you about, Tyler Ballard, who's up ahead of James Blake. 17th position outright, but a win in Class C for Tyler Ballard, who was just 4 points adrift of John Booth in the championship coming into this race. Booth will finish second in class. There is Tyler across the line ahead of James Blake. And Tyler Ballard will be absolutely thrilled with another class win. Burgess taking the win from Wetton as they acknowledge the race fans here and also the marshals around the track. Paul Lutie having to have his car extricated from the gravel. It's going to have a knock-on effect on the championship, which we'll catch up with later. Here's the result. Burgess from Wetton, Ryan Firth wins Class B, Mike Harris next from Robin Walker and Tom Butler, Sam Kirkpatrick third in class, 7th overall, Richard Marsh next from Matthew Turnbull and Patrick Booth. Andy Firth finishes in 11th from Ollie Hood and Christopher Bolton. Then it was Gianni Piccioni and Jack Roberts, followed by James Cole. Tyler Ballard wins Class C, then James Blake, John Booth second in C, Phil Tomlinson finishes in 20th place. The Class C podium completed by our newcomer Joshua Bacon ahead of David Heisman and Ray Ferguson. Fastest laps, Gary Wetton, Class A, Sam Kirkpatrick, Class B, and John Booth in Class C.
Jason, another great podium there for race 1. Now, some great battles there overall, and Gary was making that a bit tough for you.
Yeah, it was a very close race. We had a close out, Graham Ross and I off the front line. Got side by side several times during the first lap. And unfortunately that did end up in Graham losing it on the first corner. There was a coming together, but I was at the inside. I don't like to see anybody do that, and I certainly don't ever wish that on anybody, so I hope Graham's all right. Yeah, Gary then took the lead. Had a good scrap behind Gary for several laps. He drove very well. I managed to get up the side of him on one of the corners. I can't actually remember which one it was. And then he kept me straight and honest right to the end, so it was a very good race.
Gary, great to see you racing on the grid at Oulton Park. Race 1 done and dusted, and second place. Not a bad result at all.
Yeah, it was a great result for me. You know, I really enjoyed the race, but it's a shame about the two. Well, Doug Cole on the first lap and Graham Ross on the second lap coming off. You know, other than that, it was a good race.
Ryan, fantastic win in the 170 class there. 170 is always competitive, but it was a bit full on that.
Yeah, it was a really close race the whole way through. I didn't know they were going to try and pull away from me, but I managed to tag onto him, and then a 190 come into play and managed to get past him. And then they both made contact, and I just went through the middle and took the lead. But all through the race, I was just under pressure. So,
Tom, fantastic race. Very close battles throughout, really.
Yeah, it was a really good race. Really close again, like all the races this year. Slightly lost the train towards the end with some of the 190s coming through. Kind of broke it up a bit, but then it was just good to bring the car back in one piece. It's a tricky lap around Oulton Park. There's not much room for error, so it's nice to bring the car back in one piece, and to get podiums even better.
Sam, a great race one there for the weekend. We seem to be meeting more often on these podiums now. Win at Donington, and now we've got a podium on this one as well.
Yeah, we've been slowly improving as the years gone on, getting more used to the car and getting more used to racing against different people.
Not holding back either?
No, can't hold back.
Tyler, been a fantastic season for you so far. Another race win in your class on race 1 there. Good impetus for the rest of the season, and obviously I know your long-term plan to move up a class next season.
Yeah, we're going to try and hopefully get the championship this year. I mean, there's 3 rounds still to go, so anything can happen. We found that out at Brands Hatch. And yeah, we're going to move up a class next year to the 170s and see if we can have a go in them, see if we can be competitive. But obviously they're quite hard, so we'll see how we go.
Plenty of racing action then for you today here at Oulton Park. Please join us next time for our second programme. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.